Hello and welcome to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack.
Hello, Mr. Gary Mack. It's Rich Baxter over here.
Hello, Mr. Baxter. And I have to excuse myself today as these allergies are just getting to me, seasonal allergies. And today seems to be a bad day. My eyes are a little watery. And so if you see me staring off into space, you'll know what it is.
Yeah. I had that yesterday and last couple days, really. You get that seasonal effect, as you said, and never pleasant for sure.
Yeah, and we are definitely getting into summer now, Rich. The temperatures are reaching those 90-degree, high 80s, and we're almost getting a little bit of July weather in June, but baseball continues to get in full swing, and thank goodness we haven't heard anything about you know what shutting down anything or shutting down any teams right now. So let's keep our fingers crossed we can continue along that line. It was an odd thing in the golf tournament. They're playing in Ohio, the Memorial Tournament, Jack Nicklaus's big tournament, and the leader, John Rahm, in the third round, he had come in contact with somebody earlier in the week, I guess it was, with COVID-19, and he was taking tests every day to make sure that, he didn't have it. And get this, he's running away with the tournament, had a 6-shot lead. And they came up to him yesterday and they said, you got to withdraw. You tested positive. So he had to withdraw from the tournament with a 6-run lead, a 6-stroke lead. What a heartbreak! Last year he came off and found out he had a 2-stroke penalty. He's just had so much heartache at this tournament, but really a shame. I was watching that and it was heartbreaking to see him when they told him that, Um, so it's still amongst us, Rich.
Yeah. It's almost hard to believe that a golfer like that in the middle of a tournament, and there are what is called false positives as well. So I wonder how sure they were that he actually has the virus. As you said, it's a tough break for him, but it's not over yet. The media has sort of lost focus on it. People have taken their masks off outside and in public, and sort of forgot that this isn't over yet. So
Yeah.
don't it was a relief. I got to tell you, I took my mask off a few times going into a store, and I almost felt guilty to do it, and kind of like in the back of my head, a little stupid as well, because it's still out there, and that's the shame of it all.
Yeah. But you do wonder whether as you say, are we so programmed now to keep it on in a store? Can we go back to normalcy eventually? And um, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I can't wait to get rid of the damn thing, to be honest with you. But
Well, yeah, especially in the heat.
yeah,
Um,
especially.
it's no fun.
That's
But
right.
it's, it's still there. It's, people are still getting sick. Um, don't want that thing.
And people are still getting vaccinated, and that brings us to our first story, Rich. Remember when syringes was a bad thing in baseball? Well, now they're back at the ballpark, but in a different context. The 30 Major League Baseball teams will offer free tickets to people who get a COVID-19 vaccine at team run events in June. The Vaccinate at the Plate campaign will differ from city to city, but each team will host at least one vaccination event and give each attendee a ticket to a ball game, MLB said in a press release. Details for all events will be available through MLB's website. More than 41% of Americans are fully vaccinated, with 52% of adults completing their vaccine sequence. Um, I mean, I don't know about this because now all these states are offering money and everything else. And what about us people that already got the vaccine? We get nothing out of this deal. I think you muted, Rich.
Yeah, I had the cough button on. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a hoot that teams will now offer free tickets for people that are holding out. And while it's a good thing, maybe to make their mind up to get the vaccine, like you said, I'm in the middle of my 2 vaccine shots myself. You already had yours. We get nothing.
I know. Well, you might have a shot there, Rich. You got to see it's a Phillies have an event, around your time of your second shot. Maybe you should take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to stay with familiarity, so to speak.
Okay.
I've already been to the one place. They have me scheduled for the second one. But
yeah, I don't blame you.
As you said, businesses are rewarding people now hundreds of dollars to get your shots.
Yeah.
Hey, we had our shots. If you can prove it, I think you should be eligible for that as well. You took the long road and the high road and got your shot. Why shouldn't you get something? Why shouldn't, the next guy get something that got his shot and taken this vaccination already? It's kind of unfair.
Yeah, I don't, where was it? Ohio? They gave away $1 million or something in like a lottery type of deal if you got shots. And hey, I already did mine, and a lot of us senior citizens could use the money too,
Exactly. Yeah.
or could use a free ticket.
Everybody's not flushed with cash, even jobs. Local convenience store down here for gas and, hot dogs and sodas and submarine sandwiches, whatever you call them where you live, hoagies.
Heroes.
Yeah. Heroes. They're giving you $300 bonus if you get vaccinated, if you work with them. So, they're giving you $500 if you come on board with them. So you're getting an $800 bonus if you can get vaccinated and hired with them in one shot. That's pretty nice.
And what was it? I think with McDonald's, if you work there for 6 months, after 6 months, they give you an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's crazy the stuff that and we don't get anything, Rich, but that's always the story, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a little too late here or there, but maybe that'll change. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's good of the MLB to dangle some carrots in front of people, because that's what really motivated me to get my shots. Now that everybody is out in the open, they're taking their masks off, I think there's more of a chance to get it now as if it were a year ago. Just for example, I had a discussion with a fellow employee friend of mine that I work with, and he confided in me. He's about 24 or so. He says, yeah, I haven't gotten mine yet, so, there you go, right there. You have some people that are younger that don't want to get it for whatever reason. Some people that are older, they're not vaccinated. They're walking around unprotected. Now there's no masks. Their chances of getting this is greatly increased.
Well, I think they're counting on the
immunity,
the herd immunity, and that if you can get enough people, I think they say if you can get enough people vaccinated, it's I think it's 73%, 72%. Then that should be the number that you have to reach to really get to maximize the herd immunity. I think that's what they're talking about. But look, I got it. We don't go out that much right now. I'm starting to get the itch. I'd love to go to a ball game, and it's a funny thing though. I'd prefer going to a minor league game at this point, and I just feel you may be able to control the situation more in a minor league than the major league. But I don't know. I'm still staying away from it.
Yeah. If anything, now that we haven't been to baseball for a whole year, we're going to look at a price of a excuse me, a price of a baseball game in a different light anymore. It's pretty expensive to go to a ball game, from the parking to the tickets. You're looking at a couple $100 a day for two people, easy,
Yeah,
before you
yeah.
even get something to eat. So it's going to be something to get used to again.
And now they don't let you bring in anything. So, we used to be able to bring in a bag and stick some sandwiches or something in there, or a backpack, and now they're not allowing any backpack. So,
Now, if you asked me, I got a new camera for my setup here. Would I rather go to a game or have the new camera? It'd be a no-brainer.
yeah,
I want the new camera.
yeah, of course.
It's going to last longer.
You're gonna get more use out.
Watch it on TV. I don't have to be there anymore.
Yeah, but it's always nice to go a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
There's just something about going to a game that's different. In fact, I've been watching games in your neck of the woods anyway. The Jersey Shore Blue Claws have been playing the Brooklyn Cyclones in the High A league, minor league baseball, and I've been enjoying I haven't been enjoying all the games,
Oh, wow.
but enjoying something. They're coming out of Lakewood, New Jersey, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I was up there a couple times. It's a nice place to watch baseball. And didn't know the Cyclones were playing them now.
Yeah, this week. Minor league, they got a crazy schedule. They play 6 games. They play Tuesday through Sunday, and they're off on Monday. And it's a 6-game series, so it's kind of, after the first couple of 3 games, you get a little crazy, but it gets a little boring. But they're doing this for COVID and to cut down on the travel due to COVID. So I don't think this is a permanent type of thing. It's just this year so they could get minor league baseball in, and I can't blame them for that.
Very cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a nice place to watch a game, and a series of games for that matter.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of nice series going on in the MLB this week, Gary. And since we last spoke to our folks here on the podcast, why don't we run through some of the standings so far?
Okay.
Stop off at the Tampa Bay Rays. They're still on fire with the 37-23 record.
Yeah, they are a hot team.
Yeah, 7-3 in their last 10, 69 run differential there, plus 69, which is a huge amount, almost tops in the AL. But Boston's still hanging in there, as well as Toronto and the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
They're hanging
And
tough.
look at that Central. That's a tight one too, huh? With Chicago and Cleveland. And what happened to Minnesota this year?
Yeah, they can't get it started here. 12 games back, and as the summer starts to heat up, so to speak, that games back becomes a thing you can't overcome sometimes. Look at the Orioles at 16 games back. Can practically write them off of this with a 66 run differential in the opposite way, 9-20 at home.
Right.
Talk about a way to bring in a fan in Baltimore. But yeah, that AL Central there, Chicago White Sox and Tony La Russa must be doing something right over there.
Yeah, I guess so. Remember, we thought a couple of weeks ago he was losing the team. Well, doesn't seem that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Cleveland's still hanging tough, hanging in there. And out on the West Coast, the Oakland Athletics making a bid for first place, 2 games up over the Houston Astros, 7-3 in their last 10. And that's sort of like a grassroots team, isn't it, Gary? They sort of like the Tampa Bay Rays. They always seem to find a way to make good things happen.
Yeah, yeah, they keep their head above water and keep battling. Houston is right there though, Rich, and they've been good the last few years, and they thought they weren't going to be that good this year. They lost a couple of key players, Springer amongst them, but they're hanging in there. And Seattle, everybody keeps waiting for Seattle to break loose, and boy, they hover and hover, but nothing. Same thing with the Angels. But they lost Pujols. See, they released him, and now Trout's been out hurt, so they need pitching in that franchise. Otani's the big star there now, and uh, but they need some big time pitching and a lot of it. And Texas is in a rebuild, so we don't know much about them. But look at that NL East, though, baby. New York Mets sitting on top. They're doing it with smoke and mirrors, Rich. I don't know how they're still there, to tell you the truth. It's, with all the injuries, but we're getting some bodies back, and the bench has been very strong and has really helped them. And they're out on the coast now, and on a 9-game road trip, and so far they're 3-3. They took 2 out of 3 against Arizona. um, Dropped the first 2 against San Diego and one last night. DeGrom pitched another masterpiece, and they're just hanging in there. 3.5 over the Atlanta Braves, 4 over your Philadelphia Phillies, and they're the only team above 500 in the division. And look at that. What a tight division, though, Rich. Miami's in last place, only 7 games out, and that's still achievable. So no lead is safe in that division. And then we move over to the Central. The Cubbies and the Brewers are hanging tough in there, Rich.
Yeah, they're neck and neck as of today here, Sunday, June 6th, as we're recording this podcast. And Milwaukee's really come out of nowhere, 8-2 in their last 10, uh, giving a little challenge to the Cubs, who have found it easy so far. And we got a little Cubs story coming up soon on the podcast, so stick around. But yeah, St. Louis hanging in there, 2 games over 500. And even the Cincinnati Reds have been playing pretty well at times.
Yeah.
Can't string anything together, sort of like the Phillies, though.
Yeah, that's it. And Pittsburgh's right there. And then when you go out west, the big surprise, though it's tight, is the San Francisco Giants. Rich, nobody had the Giants in this race at all. Everybody was saying San Diego or LA, and the Giants have snuck in there. 2-game lead. 3-game lead over the Dodgers, and you know, pretty amazing. The Giants have put together a team that's on top of the division. San Diego's got the youth, and with the veterans, it's a well put together team. The Dodgers, of course, we know what they've done over the last number of years, and are right there, and probably still the team to beat. But San Francisco, look at that last 10, 8-2, while San Diego and the Dodgers were both 4-6. They've won 3 in a row. Just a remarkable story out west.
Yeah, they're beating the Cubs right now. And that's why we're not talking about the Cubs running away with it in the NL Central. But yeah, Gabe Kapler came from the Phillies after last year. I don't know if he can get credit for turning this franchise around, but for now they're putting up a good fight. And as you said, San Diego's no slump. The Dodgers, great team, 2 great teams there. And San Francisco said, don't forget about us.
Yeah, yeah, everybody did. And they're certainly making everybody shake their heads at least.
Yep. Well, another guy or player that is making people shake their head is Mr. Chris Bryant for the Cubs. And we were talking about the Cubs earlier, how good they're playing, and they're contending this year. They wanted to break up the team, though. At the start of the season, that was the talk, that practically none of the stars that are currently on the Cubs would still be on the team as this season progressed, including Chris Bryant, Rizzo at first base, and some others as well. They were going to blow this team up and start again. Although I don't know if that would be the greatest thing for the Cubbies to do. A total rebuild. You're looking at 5 to 7 years of, heartache, so to speak, for the fans. And at least with the Phillies comparison, a lot of the fans just walk away from baseball when things like that happen.
Well, they've got a couple of these guys coming into their walk year anyway, their free agent year. Bryant is, I think Baez may be. So I think that's why the talk of blowing up the team came about. They figured they could sell off these guys and build for the future. Now it makes it that very difficult to do because they are winning and they are in first place. You don't blow apart a first place team. And yet, do they have the money? Will they have the money to sign these guys? Because you hate to lose them. I think Rizzo is also a free agent, right?
Yeah, yeah. Chris Bryant, free agent this year. And it's always great to see a player in their free agent year because they're going to try their best. It's money in their pocket for years to come. Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, all 3 superstars there would like to stay in Chicago, but and they have the money, like you said. I don't think money's an issue. Whether or not they want to keep them is going to be the issue.
Well, and whether or not they want to spend the money too. A lot of times you don't want to go that route. You may not want to go the free agent route, but you want to lose 2 or 3 guys there that have been the cornerstone of your team, and chances are that Rizzo will stay. The other 2, I'm not so sure about. Bryant seemed to be unhappy there earlier in the year, and Baez goes hot and cold with criticism from people there, so he may want a fresh start. we'll have to see. I mean, it'll be interesting. The buyer's market changed a little bit with Lindor being signed by the Mets, so that kind of raises his uh, profile a little bit, Um, but it is what it is. You can't. This is what happens sometimes. Would they have been better off trying to clear some of these guys out in the winter of last year or spring training time? Maybe so, because then they probably wouldn't be contending. Now they run the risk of holding on to them and losing them and getting nothing for them. So that's what makes the game so tough. Even on the game within the game, the front office game, that becomes that much more difficult because it's all a question of timing.
Yeah, and a question of timing as well. Another quick Cubs story here. Uh, if you remember the name Ben Zobrist, used to be a Cubs star as well, no longer in baseball. And in fact, he hasn't retired yet, but he has taken an extended leave from baseball while he goes through a divorce. So it'll be, and they say he's not returning. Some agents, he won't return to baseball anytime soon, if ever. But rumor has it that Ben Zobrist was going to put up his World Series ring, that from an agent and an auction house here. Um, but it was flatly denied by Ben Zobrist. He said he would never sell his ring ever, ever, ever. And if you're watching our YouTube feed, I got a picture of that ring. It looks like a nice looking ring, doesn't it, Gary?
Yeah, there's something, those rings, huh?
And inscribed with his name even in it. But there was an auction house that said that it was for sale. It was going to be for sale soon. And when asked about it, Zobrist said no, he is not going to be auctioning that off, I guess, as a part of his divorce or whatever you can say about that. But interesting. I was reading a little bit about that ring, the Cubs ring. And after the Cubs were given the ring, the Cubs made everybody sign an agreement that if they were to sell the ring, they must first sell it to the Cubs for $1. So they were trying to offer a little insurance that you wouldn't see a story like this pop up after the Cubs won a World Series. They didn't want it going on eBay
Yeah.
to the highest bidder, what have you. But World Series rings, they sort of take on a life of their own after they're given out.
Well, sometimes people reach a point, we've heard about it, where guys have reached rock bottom. They have to sell their rings, to make ends meet. And that's just a crying shame because, that's something you can have for a lifetime. And not everybody has, not even, not even if you played Major League Baseball, you don't have it. So it's really a shame if you get to that point. And, we don't think about these things when it comes to divorces, but there it is, and I think something like that is so personal that really should be excluded from anything, when it comes to a divorce or anything like that. What is really the wife going to do with it?
Yeah, it's
So I don't know. It's just, let's hope it's not a nasty, nasty time, and she doesn't demand it, and realize the value to him is much more worth than it is to her, and and that he doesn't sell it ever. So
yep. So we'll keep our eye on this story as well. For now, no World Series Cubby ring up for grabs, but that may change.
yeah. And Rich, congratulations to USA Baseball. They clinched a berth in next month's Olympic Games with a 4-2 win over Venezuela on Saturday. And it's an interesting mix of prospects and on, veterans. Uh, they completed this team and they completed an undefeated run in the World Baseball Softball Confederation Baseball America's qualifier. Team USA secured one of 6 spots in the Summer Games in Tokyo. The U.S. won the bronze medal last time baseball was in the Olympics in 2008. So baseball is back in the Olympics, and there you go. U.S. Qualifies for Olympic baseball tourney, and Todd Frazier and New York, former New York Met and a Cincinnati Red, and let's see, Yankees, I think he played for in Texas, got released early this year and hooked on with the USA Baseball, and is going to Tokyo to play in the Olympics now. So it's a nice mix of, as I said, top prospects and some former major leaguers playing on this team.
Yeah, very cool. I didn't tune into it, but I did read it earlier this morning with that 4-2 victory down there in Port St. Lucie, Florida, clinching that berth for the Summer Olympics next month in Tokyo already. Wow, it's coming up faster than we realize.
Yeah.
If you're watching our YouTube feed, just a little story over here on the right-hand side. This is from the West Coast. I believe it's the LA Times or something like that. COVID vaccine lottery. 3 LA County residents and 2 from OC win $50,000. So they're even giving out a lottery out in California.
Yep.
For vaccines. Amazing.
Yeah. And
So,
we don't get anything.
Getting back to what we were talking about earlier in the show, but that's some serious cabbage. 50 grand.
I'll say. I'll say.
Nice.
And
well,
we went too early.
Yeah. Well, last week after our Memorial Day show, I believe this story happened on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, but little controversy in a game, and it happened to involve your New York Mets, Gary, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and specifically the announcer for the Diamondbacks, Bob Brenly, was commenting on Marcus Stroman, who was pitching for the Mets, and Stroman had what they call a do-rag on top of his hair and under his hat. So I think Brenly sort of off the cuff just said, Tom Terrific used to wear a do-rag like that, or whatever he said. It matches the one Tom Seaver used to wear on the mound.
Right.
I think so kind of an attempt at humor, maybe. I don't see these kind of remarks as racist, but it took a nasty turn, was bitten into by liberal media, pundits. Even the player himself, Marcus Stroman, said he didn't feel like it was in the spirit of good for Brenly to comment about that. And I just, now several days later, I'm reading the story and just happen to look at it myself. And I'm, can't you say anything these days and people aren't offended by it?
No. No, you cannot. You can't say a word. You can't make humor. You can't say anything. And it's just a shame that right away we jump to the R word. Right away, it's racism. I don't think he made any racial comments. I just think I don't know. I shouldn't really say anything, but it looks ridiculous. I What I don't understand is it's white, the one he wears, or it's light colored. Doesn't match the uniform. I mean, at least you see a lot of these guys now with these hats on or headbands or something underneath the hats. But at least they're the team color. I don't understand why he gets away with a white one. Um, you can't wear white sleeves, a pitcher, because it would mix in with the ball. Doesn't this, when he holds the ball up around there, doesn't that mix in? Will that? And now Brenly's got to do sensitivity training. I mean, come on.
Now,
We're
he
going
said,
too
pretty sure
far.
that's the same do-rag that Tom Seaver used to wear when he pitched for the Mets. Now, an opposing broadcaster, you know, you take a little pop shot at a player, and it's not anything that's really severe at all. It's not even in the neighborhood to me of being racial. Had he said another player's name, um, would have that been racial? But I agree. I think if you said, it looks stupid, I would agree with that. I mean, should it
Well,
be worn during a baseball game? Absolutely not.
well, the answer to that is that they do it for their hair or something. Um, you
But
know,
he's selling them. He's marketing these things under his own name. That's the whole thing to me.
well,
And for
I don't get what happened to the uniform rules. I mean, you used to have spikes that were either black or in your team color. Remember, they used to. That's why at the All Star game they used to wear white spikes. Now they wear all kinds of colors. I mean, Francisco Lindor's out there with yellow spikes. What does yellow spikes got to do with the Mets? The Mets have no yellow colors. Um, I don't. It's like they're letting them. It's a free for all now. Um, I don't. There's another guy on the Mets that got dreadlocks, and he actually wears his hat. The band in the back of his hat is like out, and because he can't fit it over the do rag and the dreadlocks, so he's got the band of the hat out. To me, it doesn't look professional, but Major League Baseball's allowing it. That's fine. At least he wears the same colors. Um, but Stroman is not even wearing the same colors. I don't know. It's just the game is going in a direction that they want the players to express themselves. They want to bring more excitement into the game for people. I don't, wearing different colored shoes and stuff, is that going to bring people into the stands? I don't think so. Um,
plus, plus the aspect of what could be inside such an item if you're constantly going back to it. Is there substances in there that players are alleging that the ball's being doctored with? You don't know.
yeah,
You know,
and this is something that they want to really crack down on, the illegal substances on the ball. So I just find it so funny that now they want to crack down on that, and yet they crucified Houston for trying to steal the signals, and but they know the pitchers are cheating too. So you know, all Houston was doing was cheating the other way to try to play on an even field. Um, I don't know. Stroman is a guy that's very outspoken. and sometimes his mouth is bigger than his talent. And I've said that before. And he loves to jump on these kind of things and right away. And I'd like to see, I think baseball should have, and it'll never happen because the union will never go for it. I think they should have some sort of I don't know what you would call it, a grooming code or what. These big long beards and the long hair and everything, it's getting it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'd like to see the team start like the Yankees. At least the one thing they do is they have some guidelines. I'd like to see all the teams like that.
Yeah.
At least there's nothing wrong with a beard, but you have to keep it trim. And then everybody grows a beard, and quite honestly, some of these guys shouldn't even try to grow a beard. They got a patch of hair here and a patch of hair there, and they calling it a beard. I don't. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. And I have to laugh at some of these. I don't know if they're millennials, and I don't want to group them as millennials, but they'll take any little shred of stupidity, I want to call it, and call it racism. And it's just not racism, folks. It's just not.
Well, I'm I'm with you with that, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, we want to invite you to hit the like button and add us to your listening pleasure each week here, regardless of where you listen to us from, whether it be a podcast player, on our website at anchor.fm/baseball talk radio show. Or if you're watching our YouTube feed, we're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. So we're on our way. And we got a lot of nice subscribers that hit that subscribe button. And what that's going to do for you is just let you know when we got a new show out for you to watch. If you hit the little bell button on the YouTube page, you're going to get a notification of when we have a new show. So if you want to do that as well, that's fine. We'd love to have you watch the program on YouTube and get us up to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So apparently our plea for sponsors is not going over too well. So maybe our plea for subscribers to the YouTube channel will.
Well, remember to subscribe and to give the video a thumbs up. And as Rich said, hit that little bell. That'll give you notification, and you'll never miss another episode of the Baseball Talk Radio Show.
Absolutely.
And Rich, I think, is that going to wrap it up, or we got one more about food?
Let me look through my vast list of topics here. Yes, we did have one more story about food this past week in baseball that surfaced, and it surfaced via social media about the minor leagues and their food offerings. One of the players who will remain unnamed tweeted out a photo, and I'm going to put that up on the YouTube feed right now here as well. And you take a look at it. See what you think about this. If you got this this type of food here. Oakland A's minor leaguers served what looks to be a cheese sandwich with lettuce and tomato and a nice healthy scoop of coleslaw post-game meal. And then on the right-hand side, it looks like some sort of fajita with some small pieces of chicken and some peppers of some sort. Certainly not the best looking post-game meals I've ever seen.
That's
But
putting it mildly.
Not a grilled cheese sandwich either by any means. So it was just, something to get them tided over, I would imagine. And it's a post-game meal. But Oakland A's took notice of this, went to social media, and they say they are now going to disassociate themselves with this third-party provider. Um, and let's be real. How much did they pay for these items? In this post game meal? Was it $5 per person? Was it $10 per person? What do you expect for $5 or $10 per person? So I like to hear all sides before I make a decision on who who I'm going to back on this. I'm sure they didn't pay $20 a meal for this sort of offering.
Well, I think part of the problem is that you know a lot of these minor leagues, this might be the only meal of the day, or the one only the second meal of the day. Um, they don't get paid a lot of money, so they count on this, and that's really pretty crappy what they were getting served there. And there's been a lot of complaints about some stadiums and the food. The minor league stadiums in particular, and it's funny. There was some complaints about Brooklyn and the food there. Um, Here we are in the big city supposedly, and we don't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the help. I don't know if it's just nobody cares anymore. But you can go down to Maryland to the minor league ball club, and they're serving you crabs and lobster, and it's good. Up here, you get a hot dog, it's soggy. It's not good. So I don't know what the problem is. A lot of times it's the vendors. I don't even think it's the vendors. I think it's the personnel that the vendors hire. And in this case, they bid on a contract, and sometimes they'll bid low and promise the moon, and then they realize they can't do it. Um and then they got to cut corners, and this is what happens. uh it's a shame because you got up and coming kids, and you want them to they're growing. You want them to be stronger, and prove what they can do for you, and then you feed them. I mean, that was disgusting, the pictures. So a lot of peanut butter and jelly, I guess these guys are going to be eating until they get this thing squared away in Oakland.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, you make a decision to become a baseball player, um, and meals are a part of an organization, usually within the baseball aspect. Look at all the people that work for grocery stores, though. They're not making a lot of money either. They got to make their own food. They don't even get food as part of their jobs and things. So I don't know. Baseball's kind of a weird um, existence for a lot of players that are never going to make it to the big leagues. They're there to entertain on a minor league level, and sadly, they're just not as good to play Major League Baseball, and they'll never get on a team. So it's just one of those things. But we'll see if their food improves a little bit. I'm sure they'll be tweeting that out when they get their new meals. So
Well,
what a
but
shame there.
it's part of the deal, and we all have different deals with different things that we're involved with, and you're expecting a team is paying for a certain amount level of service, and if they're not getting it, they deserve to get it and deserve to uh, you know get what they pay for, I guess, as you said earlier. But um, some of these vending services will charge a lot of money, and then they'll cut corners to maybe they're losing money somewhere else, so they'll cut corners to make up for that. And unfortunately, these guys are getting punished for that. And that's not right either. So, uh, it's it's a tough thing. You don't know what's in the contract. The contract is calling for certain spreads, and they're getting a piece of cheese and a piece of tomato on a sandwich. You know what I mean?
Cheese
It's not
sandwich.
right.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever. Well, I used to like a nice hoagie, a cheese hoagie, but never looked like that. But
Come on, you had your breakfast.
yes, I had a nice breakfast, which I shared with Gary on social media. Well, we've got plenty of baseball to talk about. We're only into the first week of June. Several next week's going to be what, the Father's Day edition, or is that in 2 weeks, the 20th,
2 weeks, I
Father's
think.
Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And Rich, before we go, two other things I'd like to well, one I don't really care to mention, but I will mention it because it is news. The all-star balloting voting has started. You can go online. I will not be voting. I am protesting this year's all-star game because of the way it was handled and moved from Georgia, Atlanta to Denver. I don't think it should have been. And I hope the people that are suing Major League Baseball win their case. That's the first thing. The second thing is today is June 6th. And for those that, we no longer study history like we used to, this was and is the anniversary of D-Day. Um, World War II, which I guess to a lot of young people is ancient history, but some of us, not that I was born after the war, so I don't remember it. But my father served, and my uncle served in World War II. Let's remember the young men and women that stormed the beach. Young men more in those days, of course, stormed the beaches at Normandy and all along the coast of France to free Europe and to knock out and win the war and defeat the Axis powers of World War II. So um, let us remember that day.
yeah, what
And
a
if I may, it's
sacrifice.
also the birthday of former Met shortstop Bud Harrelson, who is ill. He's suffering from Alzheimer's. So, Buddy Harrelson was a player and a coach and a manager with the Mets, and was on two of their World Series teams. 73 and 69 he was a player, and 86 as a coach. So happy birthday to Bud Harrelson on today. He was born on June 6, 1944. So uh, good on him. And that's it for me, Rich.
Very cool. And we want to let our listeners know we're going to have an extra show coming up, a big roundtable talk with our friends at Baseball and Barbecue as a podcast. And we're going to put out an extra show on that around Father's Day time. So we invite you to listen in on that as well. It's going to be fun, Gary.
Yeah, that should be a blast. And I can't wait.
We'll talk to you again on next week's show for the Baseball Talk Radio Show. You have a great week, everyone.